Margaret, what was it like to share so much from your past in your upcoming book?
I haven't shared a lot about my previous life, very deep in my history about sexual harassment or when I was first working.
We're gonna have to make some semblance of some weird sexual stuff. You know, growing up the way I grew up with Marge Sr., sexuality and looking great was so important. As I got older, that unfortunately shaped my early career.
I was pressured to sleep with my boss, like literally it was my first day of work. You know, it was emotional for me because that was a history in my life and things were very different. It was 1989 and, you know, there was no Me Too movement at the time. It's shameful. It's embarrassing. You feel like you did something to warrant this, which is very common with women. What did I do? Did I give them a sign? Did I behave in a certain way that I made it okay for someone to do this to me? That's a very common feeling, and you're ashamed, you're embarrassed, you're disgusted, you don't want to talk about it.
Well, you know, when Marge was talking about it, I got so upset because I'm not looking at a 53-year-old woman. I'm looking at a 20-year-old girl telling this story. And I was so hurt and so upset for her because I'm thinking that, you know, that was my Marge, you know, that's my friend. I wish I was there to help her. I wish I was her friend at that time and she could have spoke to me. You know, she was out in the world and I came from a much more strict house. I didn't even leave my block until I got married. And Margaret was in the fashion. She was in business long before we even knew what business was. So, you know, she was out there and I think she was exposed to a lot more. And, you know, so I felt so bad.
And I'm not saying, listen, he was a Harvey Weinstein and raped me. That's not what happened. But it's any person who's in a position of power and takes advantage of someone who's lesser. And you know, I needed the money. I needed my job. It was my first job. And I didn't know what to do. And who was I going to tell? I didn't want to be fired. I didn't even know what to say. I was mortified.
At what point did you talk to your mom, Marge Sr., about what you had been through?
Not until now. No, I never even said anything to my mother. I was like, what am I going to do? Call my mother? Mom? I was like, I was a young woman, and what was she going to do? And that's the way I felt. I felt shame. And that's what a lot of women feel. And men, you know, it can happen to anybody. It's not just against women. I always say, Marge Singer and I raised each other. It was the 70s. Marge Singer likes to say it was the Nixon years. Always made light of it. But Marge Singer had me when she was 20. She was sex kitten Barbie. I was her sidekick. But, you know, she did a lot of things, you know, and used her sexuality. Though Marge Singer was very smart and is very smart, she saw she got a lot more being the hot girl, the pretty girl, the flirtatious girl. Did it make me uncomfortable? I picked up on it. You do pick up, even when you're a little child, you subtly pick up on these things. We were more like roommates. And it made for a difficult life. I mean, she was flirtatious with my boyfriends, which made me feel so uncomfortable. And it also, you know, made me maybe in my younger years a little too flirtatious, a little too sexual. I curbed it for sure.
That's true.
But it was very interesting. I write about that a lot in my book.
I just find it so extremely brave of Margaret to come forward with that.
Thank you.
And I think that it's going to help so many young women from just hearing what she just said, and they're going to be able to relate to those feelings. And they're going to say, yeah, that's how I feel, so I don't have to be ashamed of what I did. I feel the way she did, and what happened to me was wrong and not my fault. So I'm just so proud of Margaret.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.